Oh, that's me. Welcome back to Squelch, the Video Game Book Club. I'm Dano.
And I'm Storm Rage, and we're here to remind everyone that Dano starts the podcast, and that's how podcasts function. And also, where Dragon Age Origins, the games are supposed to be fun. That's what I say each week. The sheer surprise in your voice as you registered that there was silence, and there shouldn't have been silence. Peak Squelch.
Thank
really you. Iconic, really just what Squelch does best. This week, we are going to Redcliffe Village, Redcliffe Castle, and playing through the side quests at Redcliffe Village. We are also going back to the Mage Tower and going to the Caravan and Battlefield on the main map. Next week, we're playing through Soldier's Peak DLC, if it works, going to Denirim and playing through the Urn of the Sacred Ashes.
So I haven't had a chance to play through the Sacred Ashes story yet, but I'm just about done with Denirim, and I'm about like 4 hours in. So between like Soldier's Peak and Denirim, I'm at like 4 hours. So I think the Urn of Sacred Ashes stuff should take around 2, though it might be one of those like 2 where we split it in halvesies, where like we do the first half of it one week and the second half the next week. So we'll have to see. And then there's just a chance that Soldier's Peak DLC doesn't work for you at all. And so like we'll just play through Urn of Sacred Ashes.
I don't think we we have any specific space that we're going to talk about it, but I tried to play through the DLC to get our good friend Shale on my team, and there's a building you have to enter at one point. And anytime I enter the building, my entire game crashes. It just shuts down, goes back to not existing, and every single time I boot it up, it does the exact same thing. So I'm going to give up on that quest for a little while.
Yeah, Shale is a ton of fun, like a really fun character. Like the actual DLC itself, like the quest itself to get Shale is it's not forgettable. It's interesting. I remembered it when I went up to it. Like the ending of it is fun. But like the rest of it, it's like, did I need to spend 40 minutes getting to the end? I felt like maybe I didn't. But again, you're paying money for it, like when it first came out. So yeah, they needed to have some content there. But it wasn't the most like engaging or interesting fighting to get there. It was just you fought some Darkspawn, then you fought some demons, and then you went into the dungeon, and then it got interesting. We started like learning about like the owner of Shale. Then it started getting interesting. And then the actual fight with the kitty, and then the story, and I think the puzzle at the end to like convince that was fun and interesting. But the rest of it wasn't. So you're not really missing a lot. Shale, you're missing. That's a bummer, but the rest of it is fine. I am forcing everyone to play Soldier's Peak though. Soldier's Peak is so much fun. Like I played through it this week, and I was like, I have to make everyone play it because it's just so good. It's just so good. Having a bunch of fun with that. Oh, I was going to ask you about Shale. Have you tried minimizing the mini-map yet? Does that work?
To enter into the house?
No, just in general. Because that was what Diego had to do in the Mage's Tower. Whenever he was in the Fade, the stuff wouldn't work. So he'd minimize the mini-map and then unminimize it, maximize it, I suppose. And then like he could use his Fade powers. So ridiculous. I didn't know you could minimize the minimap, so I went and I found it. It's actually probably the coolest UI animation in the entire game. It's ridiculous. It's really, really, no, I'm not like trying to oversell it, but it's just like really, really good. It's an incredibly cool animation for a thing that you wouldn't even know it's there. It's like it is a plus sign, but with like an arrow on each like part of the plus. So it's like 4 arrows essentially, like a north, east, southwest type of situation. And then you click it, and like the map like folds up into itself, and then like it's almost the claw like that also like opens, and then it folds. It's so cool. It's like someone spent way too much time on this thing that nobody's ever going to use. It is ridiculous and amazing. I absolutely love it. We should also address that Matt's not here. I feel like we should talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we probably should. I killed Matt, so he's no longer on the podcast.
Yeah, rip. So moving on. Matt's camping this weekend, so that's where he's actually at. So he'll be back next week as a zombie.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go thank some patrons.
Thanks. I am pretty incredible.
Thank.
Thank you very much, patrons and Twitch subs. Hey, you may have noticed that we haven't been streaming on Twitch the past 2 weeks, but we are going to stream again next week. It's just not been a great couple of weeks for streaming, so that's kind of how that is. Sorry about that. I do apologize. If you want to join in our Patreon, patreon.com/Squelch if you want. You get some fun little stuff like Squelch After Dork, which I don't have anything planned for, but like I'm sure something will come up as we're talking today. Or we could talk about Frerin, the anime, which is so much fun. Have you watched that yet?
I have not.
Oh.
I have a thing that I would like to talk about. And
Great.
I know normally for After Dark we do like the game things, but I'd be really interested to talk more about like the specific mechanics of the combat in Dragon Age.
Yes.
Of like what spells and things are like absolutely must-haves, what things you typically avoid. Because like I've been really struggling wrapping my mind around how many abilities are in this game.
Yes, let's definitely do that because that's actually going to kind of wrap into one of the things I'm talking about this week later on in the podcast. So that is perfect because there is a lot, like capital A, capital L, capital O, capital T. So nope, I like that. That's great. So we'll talk about some fun in-game stuff.
This one's a real page-turner.
Hey, Storm Rage, tell me, what did we talk about last week in 74 seconds or less, and go?
I can do it so much shorter than that, Dano. We, as a group of the Grey Wardens, the last of the Grey Wardens, and our ragtag crew of friends, companions, and less than ideal compatriots, we made our way through a town that had been attacked or was in the way of the Darkspawn. We did some random quests that may or may not have helped anybody, but we did our best. We then made our way to the Circle of Magi to get their assistance against the blight that has been raging throughout the land. The tower itself had been taken over by a group of blood mages. That wasn't very good. We found a friend named Wynn, who is a great healer and kind of boring. In my personal perspective, she seems pretty, like, prototypical. I am a healer, and I will heal people. That is what I do. I heal people. We saved the tower by finding a McMuffin and defeated a sloth demon within the Fade, which is the magical realm within this universe. Then we took on the blood mages and decided if we wanted to take the aid of the mages, or if we wanted to instead take the aid of the Templars on the final battle against the Blight.
I just wanted to play through the whole thing there. Yep. So,
Dano, I have a question.
yeah.
We have the aid of the mages, yes, and there's now somebody in my camp that is a mage.
Yes.
And I can go talk to him, and I can
Yes.
say, "Hey, do you need anything?"
Yes.
And this guy says, "Well, we need a lot of things, but runes are my specialty." And then he stops talking to me, and I would like to give him runes. How do I give him things?
You give him the runes and the little chest next to him. So as we help more people, we're going to get more of them in our camp with us, and they're all going to want different things, and you just deposit those things in that little chest there.
Okay, because when I talk to the chest just says, "It's a chest. Leave." And leave is my only option.
Do you have any runes?
I'm pretty sure, like, the things that you can use to enchant your weapons?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
It's a great question. I don't know.
Okay, great.
Great. You just talk to the chest. Now I only have like 2 runes and I'm going to use them for something, so I haven't done anything with it yet, but I seem to remember just talking to the chest, I think.
Well, I'll give it another shot.
Someone put a pin in that to talk about next week. It's a mystery to solve. Thank you very much for actually typing that in the the show notes there, Stormrage. Hey, we have a lot of friends, and so I think we should talk about them as just kind of a reminder of who they are and what they kind of do. So first is Alistair. Alistair is a human warrior Templar. I'm not sure why I can't say that word. He is a Grey Warden and our new friend. He is sad because Duncan died. Alistair was raised in Redcliffe by Arl Eamon. His mother was a servant in the castle who died in childbirth. His father's identity is unknown, but there's are rumors that he's the illegitimate son of Arl Eamon. He was sent to the Chantry to become a Templar because of those rumors. Mm-hmm. Dog.
Gotta dodge those rumors.
Dog is our dog. We saved Dog during the attack on Ostagar. Dog is a good boy. One of us named him Dog Meat. That was me. Liliana.
Yeah, it sure was.
Liliana. We meet Liliana in a tavern in Lothering, wearing a chantry robe and wearing a sword on her back. Liliana is a bard and chantry sister from Orlais. She claims that she can hear the voice of the Maker, the god of the chantry. She insists on this, even though the established teachings of the chantry is that the Maker has only ever spoken to one mortal, the prophet Andraste. Morgan is known as the Witch of the Wilds. Morgan is a shapeshifter and apostate mage who we met in the Concara Wilds. Morgan's mother, Flemeth, insists we take Morgan with us after Flemeth saved us after the Battle of Ostagar. Morgan and Alistair are two sides of the same coin. That coin being things teenage boys think are really, really cool. Alistair is a wide-cracking tough guy with a heart of gold, and Morgan is cynical and says what she thinks, while wearing minimal clothing. Is it unfair to both these characters, and do both of them have more depth to their characters than this? Yep, but I said what I said. Sten. Sten kinda sucks. We don't talk about Sten. Fine, I'll talk about Sten. Sten killed a bunch of people at a farm in Lothering. We rescued Sten, but he really didn't want to get rescued. It was weird. He also didn't apologize or hide the fact that he killed multiple people. There is a mystery here, but I don't know if I've ever really got too much into it because Sten sucks. Sten and the Canarian Dragon Age origins are what the original series Klingons are to Star Trek. Both start off as generic brutes, but turn into something much more interesting later. Honestly, this just makes Sten worse.
I have yet to have Sten in my party for a long period of time, but I have been following a lot of walkthroughs, and a lot of the walkthroughs will be like, if so-and-so is in your party, this response will get this approval and this disapproval. And it seems very consistent that Sten does not care about anyone or anything, with the exception of he really doesn't like it when you think too much about things. And if you decide, I'm going to let this person go, and then you end up not, or converse, you're saying, I don't want to let this person go, and then you do, that's the one thing he doesn't like. He just doesn't want you to think. He just wants you to make a choice and go with that choice.
Yeah, I really think the best thing you could have done for Sten was just not freed him. Because, no one's forcing you to be here, Sten. No one's forcing you to be here. And I'm making it a habit to talk to him more in camp because, I feel like for the podcast, I should actually figure out what Sten is about. So I have learned a little bit more, and it's real dumb. It's really, really dumb. It's just the worst. All right, Wynn is a healer and circle mage. Wynn is first met during the Magi storyline. Wynn is a bit of a traveler and is rarely found in the tower, much to the annoyance of tower leadership. She is a motherly figure who wants to do good in the world. Shale is our rock buddy. He used to be controlled by a mage who messed with demons and found out what happens when you mess with demons. He is bored, so now he's bumming around with the warden. And those are our current friends. So we did just meet a new friend this week, and he's one of my favorites. Should we head over to the recap now?
I think so.
Intercom's open. If you got anything you want to say to the crew, now's the time.
Whoa. Whoops. Whoa.
Thanks, Joker. Yeah, I've been missing you, friend.
I was on the wrong page.
Duncan, are your men ready for battle?
They are, Your Majesty.
I was like, wait a minute.
Thanks, Commander Shepard. The Warden and the crew hop over to Redcliffe to see Arl of Redcliffe and convince him to support the Wardens. As they approach the castle, the gate itself is closed, and the party is told to see Ban Tegan, Arl Eamon's brother, at the chantry. Ban Tegan tells the Warden that the Arl is very ill, and Arl Eamon's wife sent his knights to search for the urn of sacred ashes to cure him. Not only that, but apparently Redcliffe Village is being attacked at night by the undead. The horror!
This is one of my favorite quests in, like, pretty much video games. Like, just video games in general. This quest is absolutely amazing. If you leave the village at any point after learning this thing is happening, you return and the village is just destroyed. Everyone is dead. And then not only are they dead, they're in the castle and you have to kill them. It's awesome. It is so good. So, like, the villagers are dead. The Blackstone Irregulars side quest guy is dead. The Chanters Board quests are gone. The Mages Collectives, all these people, all these little side quests, they're all gone. It's so cool. All the townspeople are turned undead. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. Ban Tegan is still alive in the Chantry so that the story still moves forward, which I think, like, maybe he should be at the top of the hill, or I don't know. Like, it'd be nice if that made a little bit more sense there, but that's just where Ban Tegan lives in the, like, code of the game, so that's where he is. But other than that, like, it's just so much fun because you don't really know. It's like, hey, there's terrible things happening. And you might be like, oh, you know what? I should go change my party. And then you come back and they're all gone. I love it. It's so good.
Ban Tegan tells the Warden to chat with Murdoch, the leader of the town militia, and Sir Perth, one of Arl Eamon's knights, who happened to be nearby when the attacks themselves started, to see what all help is necessary. And there is a lot of help that is needed in this village. Murdoch asked the Warden to see if they can convince the blacksmith Owen to repair some of their armor and weapons. He would also like the Warden to convince the dwarf and his guards to join the fight. Owen has locked himself in a store. The first thing the Warden needs to do is get inside. But the door's locked. Oh no! What do we do? Easy enough. Just break down the lock, pick the lock, or just be really, really nice. Once inside, the Warden learns that Owen is a drunk and refuses to help because his daughter is trapped inside the castle, and he assumes she is dead. He wants more than a promise from us because everyone has told him that they will look for her. But, if the Warden pinky promises, I guess, to help, he won't sober up, but he'll at least fix the armor, and that's good enough for us. I did find it very funny that it was like, no, promises don't mean anything. Promise me you'll look for her. And I was like, I guess. Yeah, sure, my dude. Okay. You can also help a girl who is looking for her brother. Their parents are both dead, but you can find her brother hiding in a closet, and if you're nice to him, he'll give you a super cool sword. Now it is time to go up to the hill and talk to Sir Perth. Perth, along with the rest of the Arl's knights, were out hunting for the urn of sacred ashes. When near the Redcliffe was under attack, he and the soldiers under his command are well supplied, but they want a blessing from the Mother Hannah down in the Chantry to protect them from the zombies. Weird that Mother Hannah won't agree to give a blessing, so the Warden agrees to help. Upon talking to Mother Hannah, the Warden learns that Sir Perth wants, quote, mystical protection, unquote, something the Maker and his church don't do. Well, the Warden gets two choices then. Option one, the Warden doesn't die to a horde of zombies, and therefore would really like Sir Perth and his knights to be fighting in tip-top shape. Well, the second reason is that we also need help, is that the Warden said they would help, and they only like to lie when it serves their purposes. And speaking of lying, the Warden asked Mother Hannah, why can't you just, like, lie about this? Just, like, do mystical voodoo. Just say, Maker watches over you, and everyone will be like, ah, yes, and also with you, and we'll be fine. Well, doesn't matter. The Mother Hannah wants none of that, but if the Warden has a decent enough coercion skill, they can convince Mother Hannah that for the greater good, a little fibbing is totally fine. She gives the Warden some random holy medallions, and he can pass it out, or they can pass it out to Sir Perth and his soldiers.
So this is, I like this. So it's fun world building, but it's inconsistent world building because in Lothering, if you go and talk to the Mother Chantry sister there, she will just give you a blessing. Like, everyone will, like, drop to one knee, and she, like, says a little prayer and a blessing on you. So this 100% is a thing that gets done. But, like, maybe it's, like, just different, like, you know, maybe one of them is being more literal of the Maker book than the other one. I don't know. But I like the world building here. So it kind of points that the Maker is a silent watch that does not interfere in the lives of mortals, which is like super duper fun because Liliana is pretty ding dang insistent that she hears the Maker speak to her. Like, not like, oh, I know, but like literally he is talking to me and I need to do what he says, which I think
he
is
gave
great.
me a vision. My vision was to you. Great vision. No notes.
So beyond that, like if the warden coerces or intimidates Mother Hannah into helping Sir Perth, Liliana will lose 5 points of approval. On the other hand, Morgan will gain 2 approval points, but only if Alistair and Liliana are both in the party, which I love because Morgan doesn't care about the chantry, but she does love like pestering Morgan.
What an absolute turd. She's an absolute turd this whole game.
And in a fun bit of Dragon Age Origins trivia, none of this matters because this is actually bugged. It like does not actually affect the soldiers whatsoever. There isn't like the in-game thing that's supposed to happen doesn't happen, and they just never ever bothered to fix this. So it's part of like the Quinn's DAO fix pack mod that fixes this and like 300 other major and minor bugs because BioWare just couldn't be bothered to do anything. Which is triply funny because there is if you look at the pickpocket, the steal 4 things you can do for stealing, it's like pickpocketing, pretty good at pickpocketing, pretty dang good at pickpocketing, and the last one is able to pickpocket during battle. And you used to be able to set up a tactic so that person would just go and steal from people during battle. And in patch 1.4, they patched that out of the game, so you could no longer do that. So they did patch things in this game. They just couldn't be bothered to fix the things that didn't work. They just, like, I'm assuming it was a little bit overpowered because you could just steal a ton of potions and get like super rich off it. But like, nevertheless, like, they could have fixed stuff. It was just stuff that you couldn't see. They just never bothered. It was like, oh, this is broken. Who cares?
Oh, well.
Also, if you snoop around town, there are some oils that you can tell Sir Perth about. And then he'll set them up to light the zombies on fire with, which is a complete double-edged sword because fire. Did you find the oil?
I did not. No, reading about this, I was like, oh, this is very exciting. Yeah. There's also the next thing that I also didn't do that at all. In fact, for the next little bit, up until the fight starts, didn't really know much else about these other things.
We'll talk about all like the fire and all that kind of stuff when we break down the battle. So I'll let you go ahead here.
Right. Next up is Dwin. Dwin is hanging out by the home, but the door is locked. Dwin doesn't respond to the warden when they knock on the door, which only leaves 2 options, kicking it down and picking the lock. And if you don't pick it, oh well. Just break it open. Once inside, Dwin doesn't want to hear anything that the warden has to say, which is super rude. If he didn't want to be bothered, he should have just kept his door locked. Or made it less penetrable from kicks. After a bit of talking and a bit of either bribing, intimidating, or coercing, Dwin and his guards decide to help. Nice. Good for them. Good for them to make this choice all on their own.
So there is a tavern in Redcliffe Village owned by a guy named Lloyd. Lloyd employs a woman named Bella. Bella isn't super happy working for Lloyd because Lloyd is a cheapskate who pays her next to nothing. Bella also tells the warden that Lloyd doesn't help defend the village, but actually locks himself up in his basement to defend his booze. The warden can ask Lloyd about this, and Lloyd complains that if he were to help defend the village, the entire militia would just break in and steal all his booze during the fight. There are some militia at the bar who scoff at this and complain that Lloyd is charging them for the alcohol, and that he should be giving it to them for free. They say they are terrified and that drinking helps calm their nerves. I think that maybe being drunk before battle is a bad decision. There are a ton of ways to deal with Lloyd and Lloyd's Tavern. So number 1 is you can pay Lloyd 100 silver to cover the militia's drinks. 2, you can use a decently high persuasion skill to convince him to give the militia drinks for free. 3, you can convince Lloyd to join the militia. He will do this immediately and leave the tavern. At this point, you can tell Bella that she is in charge now, and then you can ask her to give the militia drinks for free, which she gladly does because she doesn't like Lloyd. You can also ask her what is for sale, and she offers to give you anything you want from Lloyd's store for free. I just took all of it. I didn't even want most of it. I just took all of it and then like sold it at the next merchant.
Amazing. Man, I wish I had done this.
You can intimidate Lloyd and tell him that money won't help him when he is dead. After a little chatting, you now own a tavern and can give the militia drinks for free.
That's also crazy.
It gets crazier because you can just straight up kill Lloyd. Like, talk to him and be like, you know what, Lloyd, I don't like the cut of your jib. And then just stab him. Most of your party doesn't like this, but hey, the problem is solved, and now you own a tavern, and you can give the militia some drinks. You can do all of that, intimidate it, and then he'll try to bribe you, and then give you 80 silver, and then you can do that, and then just walk away, and then militia doesn't get the drinks. Lastly, you can just agree with him that drinks aren't free, and then walk away, which is kind of boring. Once the fighting is over, you can go back to the tavern, and if Lloyd died during the battle or you stole his tavern, you can give it to Bella, which is quite nice of you. It would be pretty neat if this tavern came up later in another game. ... It does. Also, if you keep him alive during the battle, he'll give you like a fancy ring. So,
Oh, I kept him alive during the battle. I didn't get a ring.
was he in the battle though?
No, he was not. So
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Yeah. So if he's in the battle and you keep him alive, he'll like have like a, I'm not sure if it's like a face turn or whatever, but he will give you the ring as like to be thankful. So
Interesting. I
Yeah.
waited till the very end, and then everybody was still alive, and I talked to Bella, and I was like, hey, get out of here. And she was like, I can't. This dude sucks, and I don't have enough money. And I was like, would 100 silver help? And she was like, that's not enough money. I'd just end up back here. And I had to give her 500 silver to send her on her way. And I had, at that time, 580 silver. So that was a chunk of change.
well, your goodness will come back later, because I think it's an Inquisition where she comes back up. So
Okay.
yeah.
There is also an elf in Lloyd's Tavern named Perwick. Perwick?
Harwick?
Who was acting all sketchy. I didn't notice this, but Dano says he does. He claims he is waiting for his brother. After a little chatting or pickpocketing, you can learn that he is actually a spy for Loghain. Upon learning that, it is pretty easy to convince him to help defend the town. After that, the warden should be ready for the fight. The militia is drunk, the knives have fake religious symbols, the drunk blacksmith mostly repaired some armor, a merchant and his guards were bribed into helping, a bunch of highly flammable oil is strategically placed in the middle of the battlefield, and a spy for the traitor who killed the king figures he has nothing better to do now that everyone knows he is a spy. Everything is going to go great. Time to fight some undead. The fight itself is in 2 different phases, and it is basically 2 horde battles in 2 different locations. The first takes place at the top of the hill with the knights, and the second takes place in the center of town with the town militia and the people recruited by the warden. If the warden found the oil, it will be placed up with the knights and be lit as soon as the first undead start attacking. Once the undead attacking from the castle are dealt with, a runner from town will inform the warden that more are attacking from the lake. This battle is even more hectic because the battle has already started once the warden arrives, and there are far more waves of undead to deal with. Also, the militia aren't as good as the knights.
They're not.
After the battle is over, Ban Tegan asks the warden to meet up with him by the mill to talk about taking back the castle. I loved this section. I thought it was super cool. This is probably my favorite section that we've had so far. Like the maybe not as fun for me as the Fade, but I loved the Fade more than I really should have. I just think that the going to talk to people, getting people on your side, like that always resonates with me so hard. And the fact like the end is coming, the night is coming, we must survive the night. You can talk to people, a lot of people are like hopeless, you can inspire the militia commander, you can like get his hopes up, you can go around town and get people feeling good about things, you can unite the town, and then when it actually happens, like you could see the undead, like this unending wave just come to the village again and again and again, and you're just surviving. And it's so flippin' cool. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I don't know, except for maybe the end of the game, I don't know that it gets much better than the whole Redcliffe part of the game. Both the town and the castle, I think, are probably peak Dragon Age Origins, maybe. I could be wrong. I mean, the Dwarven Kingdom is super fun, and you know what? The elves are super fun as well. This game is awesome.
Yeah.
But it is an absolute ton of fun. I love that, yeah, the militia is not as good as the knights. They were also drunk. So, you know what?
In mine, they weren't. Mine, they were just like militia.
Right. So maybe because of mine, they thought it better. So if you find the oil, they set it, and they light it as soon as the undead come running down the hill at the top there. And then what your party does is they run to attack the undead into the fire, because the AI in this game is really bad. So you have to be like super careful and like being like super controlling of like, okay, you stay here. You stay here. Okay, why are you running over there? Stay here. Just stay here.
The number of times that I will set a trap and I will walk away and I will give very specific orders to every single person on my team. I will pause the game. I will say, everybody runs backwards. Everybody runs away. Everybody runs away. So that way we don't have to deal with this entire horde of dogs. Run away. We'll deal with them one at a time. I've placed a beautiful trap right here. And if you notice, if you run through the trap, then we don't have any protections. And then all of a sudden, my mage, and my archer are just like, oh, did you want me to run in front of the ward? Did you want me to run just like straight into those dogs so they just rip me to shreds? Because that's what I'm doing.
So something the game doesn't tell you about, which I'm just going to shock you that there's something that this game doesn't tell you about. If you go to the tactics menu and you see where it says aggressive, ranged, passive, it's a little drop-down menu there. If you set that to ranged for your archer and your mage, that does help a lot because they will stay out of melee range. If you don't do that, like your mage and your archer will run up into melee combat and then use their bow and cast their spells. And you're like, I feel like maybe you're not very smart. Are you not very smart? I have looked at that trap thing, by the way, and I'm like, I just know there is 0% chance this is going to work well. I haven't even put a single point into it.
I've just put in so many like glyphs. I have a lot of glyphs that I've used as traps, and those have been really helpful.
Yeah, there's like actually some exploits with those that you can be crazy powerful. But I don't know how they work. I haven't done it, but I've heard, I read, and I was like, I don't know about that. I'm gonna do something else. How did the fight go for you? What did you think about the actual fight?
I liked it a lot. The knight section was like pretty easy. I was kind of surprised at it. The militia fight, I lost a few more militia members than I was hoping for, but I didn't have to do this a couple times. At this time, and I'll talk about this more later, I was still on normal difficulty, and so I had a couple people that were low, and I had to use a couple potions, but nothing crazy. And I just had a lot of fun with it. It just kept going and going and going. And then at the very end, surprise, surprise, there was a bug. There was just one zombie that was like stuck behind a house. And I was like, why isn't the fight over? And then I had to go hunting for a zombie that had gotten stuck.
I think I had the same zombie. It was over to the left.
Mine was over to the right.
Oh, okay.
If my back was turned to the chantry, it was like directly in front of the barricade and slightly off to the right.
Okay. I know what we're talking about. Yeah, I had none of the knights died, and I had one townsperson died, and it was Lloyd. And I was trying really hard to keep them all alive, but I was like, well, if Lloyd goes,
if there's one to die.
So I actually kind of was like, no big deal. I ran it back a couple times. I had a quick save in between the two phases. And so I probably ran it back 3 times because I lost like 2 or 3 militiamen, and I was trying to save as many as I could. And I ran it back, I think, to be 3 times to not lose anyone except for Lloyd. But like, it was pretty quick. Like I would like be running down there, and like 1 or 2 of them would fall. And I was like, I wasn't quick enough. And so it wasn't like I was like went through the whole battle or anything like that. But I thought it was a ton of fun. I basically controlled Wynn, the healer, the whole time, and like was like zoomed out max and like had the tab on, and then was like, because you can heal the militia members, but only if you select them with the heal.
Oh.
Yeah. So otherwise it won't, they're friendly NPCs, but not party members. So I was like super like in like I was like lots of pauses and like trying to keep track of all their health and everything. It was a ton of fun. I really had a lot of fun with it. It was great. It's a super fun fight. And it's super hectic. It's like, and like you just like, you're like, when will it ever end? It was so well done. It was really, really well done.
Really, really great. I had a fun time with it.
Yep.
Afterwards, Ban Tegan is waiting for the warden up by the gates. Up by the gates of the castle when Arlessa Isolde runs up and claims that the castle has been invaded by an evil force led by a mage who was paid by Logain to poison Arl Iman. The mage poisoned the Arl and was captured by the guards, but not before the evil he let loose upon the castle turned everyone but Arl Iman, Arlessa Isolde, and their son Connor into undead monsters. What a weird coincidence!
It's so weird.
The Arlessa says that Connor has been inflicted, but not like everybody else. But something is still going on in that she escaped, and only Ban Tegan can come with her. Can we come with her? No. Why not? No reason. But, like, it seems weird that he goes all alone, right? Yes. Can we ask more questions about it? No. Don't worry about it. Okay. Everyone seems totally above board. Nothing to worry about. Ban Tegan says he knows of a secret passage into the castle through the windmill, and that the warden should go that way while he goes with Arlessa through the front gates, because maybe something is not super on the up and up here.
I love that. It's like, I'm not sure that there's a trope to this where like it's basically to progress the story you have to assume the audience is idiots. And like,
yeah,
I love that this game has stuff like that, but then looks at the audience directly and is like, no, we know that this is also really obvious and everyone's dumb. And actually, you go ahead and go through the back door because this is a trap. I do love how that is done in this game. Like, because it could have just been like, oh, yeah, everything is fine. You go, and then you have to find your own way in after he doesn't return or something like that. But nope, I love that Ban Tegan's like, this is weird. Okay, I'm going to go with her because obviously she needs me to. But you go through the secret passage we were going to use because all bad things. All bad things.
From there, the warden enters into the castle through the windmill, and really annoying note, if your windmill is partially bugged out, like mine was, it's really hard to find that entrance. It takes a real long time. I went through that windmill several times. I went to the basement of the windmill. I went up above the windmill. Could not find that thing because the entire windmill wouldn't load, so it was just pitch black, and I was just clicking around like a madman.
Did you have tab? Tab would have showed you where the entrance was.
It did not. I was really frustrated. I tabbed and there was nothing there. So that's why I was really confident that there wasn't anything in the top of the windmill.
Storage.
So I went back down to the other, because there's like a side entrance just below it. And so I kept going back and forth and I was like, where is this stupid entrance? And then I accidentally clicked it on my fourth or fifth time into the windmill.
All right, when is your birthday? Because I'm just going to buy you the GOG version as an early birthday present because, like, the Steam version is just so bad.
I'm going to try uninstalling some of my mods and see if that helps. Because it might just be an overload on mods, because I have quite a few going on right now.
You're saying a bunch of 15-year-old mods in a 15-year-old game that's never been touched is a bad idea.
I think it might be. I think there might be some problems here. So the very first thing you run into is a mage locked in a cell. He says his name is Joanne, and actually, if you're a mage, you recognize this dude. This is the dude that got kicked out of the castle and used blood magic to run away after you either helped him or were a narc. But I'm not a narc, unlike certain people.
Me!
Joanne admits to poisoning the Arl, but says he isn't the one who turned everyone in dead. In fact, he was actually invited to the castle because the Arlessa wanted him to tutor her son, Connor. And Joanne also admits that he basically only poisoned the Arl because Logain asked him to, and he said that Logain would in turn give more freedom to the mages, which he liked. And then all of a sudden, believe it or not, Logain was not a man of his word. Weird. I wish people would stop listening to a traitorous person who never stands by his word. Maybe someday. But Joanne was invited to the castle himself, so that way they could tutor Connor, so the Connor could learn to hide his magic powers. And why would a mage on the run from the circle be hired to tutor? Well, because the kid is a mage, and mages have to go to the circle. When they go to the circle, they also lose all of their titles and lands. The Arlessa didn't want her son to go to the Circle and lose his titles. Seems like maybe we weren't told the whole story by the Arlessa. Weird, if only that was incredibly obvious from the very moment we saw her. Now that the story is told, Dwayne says he wants to help and fix the mess he caused. This leads to another difficult choice by the Warden, all of which lead to consequences to the future story. You can first and foremost kill him. Dude tried to kill the Arl and also betrayed the Circle and also betrayed you. I was real tempted on this one. This guy had just like every moment I gave him an ounce of rope, he tried to hang everybody that was with him. You can also free Dwayne and tell him to run away. You can also free Dwayne and tell him to come with you. And he says, no thanks. And I was like, wait, what? You can do that? I just freed you. You're going to tell me no? Really?
That was the choice I did.
I'm really solid. I'm good out here. All right? You could also free him and tell him to go on his merry way. Or you could just leave him in the cell. Any of these options are fine. Now that what did you choose on this one, by the way?
This is a fun one. So I chose option 3, free Joanne and tell him to come with me. And he's like, no. I was like, oh, I guess just stay in your cell then and we'll figure it out later. And then Liliana was like, that's not really okay. And I was like, well, deal. And so I went up about like a quarter of the way through the dungeon and I was like, fine, Liliana. And I turned around and I went and I freed him and let him just go on his merry way.
I am so glad that I have given Morrigan all of my gifts because she hates every decision I make in this game.
It's why she's not in my party, because I was like, there's no other way for me to have the approval high enough.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how much she does not like the things that I choose. But you know what? Oh well. I freed him and I was like, hey, I guess just hang out if you don't want to come with me, and I'll catch you later. So, now that the decisions are over, it is time to kill some undead. The rest of the dungeon itself is pretty straightforward, mostly killing undead and demons. Demons? There are demons in the castle. Weird, surely that has nothing to do with an untrained child mage who might rip a fabric in space and time and unleash a horde of demons. I wonder why. Anyway, one of the most difficult fights is this stupid courtyard. In order to get through, you're walking through the castle, and in order to get to the main area, you have to go into the courtyard. And the courtyard has a bunch of undead and a demon that is a revenant. And this thing rips through your party members left and right. He has an AoE mass pull that pulls everybody in. He deals a ton of damage. He's immune to a lot of things. He's immune to certain damage. He has damage reduction. He has a bunch of health. He destroyed me so many times. I went through 9 health potions, 5 mana potions, and I still died. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I went through and I got high ground one time and I was able to barely make it out. 0 potions left. Everybody had an injury. I had to use all my injury kits. And then I realized that if you open the courtyard and if you look slightly to the left, there is a gate. And if you open the gate, 4 knights come in to help you out. And let me tell you, the fight's a lot easier when it's 8 on 10 and not 4 on 10. So much easier.
So I had tab on, so I saw the switch. And so I was playing, I think I had Zevran at this time already. So I had Zevran and I had him I had Liliana run over to hit the switch. And the rest of my group went and fought the Revenant. And so Liliana hits the switch, and then she runs over to fight the Revenant as well. And my party must have gone over far enough and then engaged him where he began. So they were fighting in the corner of the courtyard there. And so the
knights didn't see him?
The knights all run in, and they just stand there at attention waiting for you to go address them. And I'm like, come over and help. What are you doing? I was able to get through the fight, but I was like, they just stood there, and I was like, this is ridiculous. They didn't even look to the left. I was like, this game.
What a good game.
It is a good game. Just come on.
Well, once inside the castle, you eventually hopefully find the daughter of the blacksmith, the Arlessa, Connor, and Bantigan. The Arlessa looks quite dejected and not nearly as, let's say, emotional as we had last seen her, where she pleaded with us that we definitely needed Bantigan. who at this point is now laughing and rolling on the floor like a court jester. A fight begins with Connor running upstairs, and Connor clearly being possessed by a demon and saying, "Hey, I'm a demon, bye-bye, and
Just
I don't like
literally.
you. I'm gonna kill you and run away." "Why are you running away?" "Don't worry about it. He's running away." The warden has to fight Ban Tegan and the rest of the possessed guards. Once they're all dead, the fight ends, and all the guards are super dead because you just killed them. And I thought, oh, Ban Tegan's super dead because I definitely just threw a fireball in his face, and you can't recover from that. Turns out you can if you're Ban Tegan. Good for him. Plot armor's fantastic suits of armor.
Just pops up like nothing is wrong, all smiling. "Hey, thanks for coming in." I was like, "You're dead."
I'm so glad you're here. Really? Because I just cast a curse of mortality on you, and that's not a good one.
Oh, goodness.
Now, at this point, we do have several different options on how things can proceed. If you kill Joanne, too bad for you, he ain't coming. You have to kill Connor in order to basically save this castle. Did you free Joanne and tell him to run away? Too bad, he ain't coming. You gotta kill the kid. Did you free Joanne and tell him to come with you, but he wants something to do with you, and so you left him to rot in the cell? Good for you. Ban Tegan and the Arlessa suggest going to get Joanne to figure it out. Did you free Joanne and let him go on his merry way? Good for you. Joanne comes back to help. He's like, "I'm a blood mage, and I can use my blood magic to send someone into the Fade to kill the demon that is possessing Connor. But there is a small cost to that, and it is you need someone else to die. So you're sacrificing someone's life, and in this case, the Arlessa volunteers. Hey, take me, save my kid. Did you leave Joanne in the cell? Because honestly, matters of state aren't really your business. Good for you. Ban Tegan goes to Joanne, and Joanne still offers to help with blood magic. Did you bring Morgan or Wynn with you? Okay, good start. But have you gone to the Mage's Tower yet? You did? Well, did you side with the mages? You did? Awesome. Now you can go to the circle and ask them for a boatload of lyrium and a whole bunch of mages to perform the ritual that Joanne wants to cast with blood magic, therefore side-skirting all of the difficult choices and making everyone live happily ever after. The following is a fairly straightforward Fade dungeon like the Magi Origin and the Circle of Tower questline. Get in, kill the demon, get out, and Connor is saved. Dano, thoughts on this?
I love it. I love it. My first playthrough, I didn't have, I think I probably had Morgan with me, but I didn't do the tower first. So, and then I think I told him to run away or something like that. So the Arlessa had to die. It was good. It was lots of fun. Was it the Arlessa? Or, I don't know. The first time I did not get the happy ending. I did get the happy ending this time, but not because I knew it was coming, but because I just did what Liliana said to do. And then had Win with me. So, yeah.
I specifically, I was staring at Joanne in prison, and I was like, every time I have trusted him, he has instead stabbed me in the back to the greatest degree possible. And if he does it a third time, I think BioWare's gonna have to deal with something, and it's gonna be a strongly worded letter to no one about how dare you trick me 3 times in a row. And I thought there's no way they're going to do that. 3rd time's the charm.
Dear Steve BioWare.
I don't like being tricked, and you tricked me too many times.
Yeah, I love this. It's so much fun. And it like the stakes feel really fun. They're great. Like it's a ton of it's wonderful. I think there are a few like weird little hiccup things like Ban Tegan like popping up and being fine. I don't know why that was necessary, really, I guess, except for he needed to like move us forward to the Urn of Sacred Ashes, but maybe I feel they could have gave that to somebody else. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a ton of fun. This whole story is fantastic. The whole like Connor and everything. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like I said, Redcliffe Village and Redcliffe Castle are 2 of my most favorite like video game storylines because like, not only do things that you did beforehand matter, like, what did you do with the Circle Tower? Have you gone there yet? Which you didn't need to, no reason to. It just, part of it is chance, I think is super fun and cool. And then, who did you side with? If you side with the Templars, they can't help you. It's great. I love it. I think it's so much fun. It's fantastic.
I think the kind of, for lack of a better term, theme of this section felt like you reap what you sow. And so there was a lot of the Arlessa was like, I need to hide my kid. I don't want to lose my kid. And what is the worst possible thing that can happen? Well, mages in this world have a consequence. Mages in the world can't just like cast magic and have a good time. There's the Fade. There's demons. There's danger in that. And if you do not properly train them by sending them to the places where they can learn to say no to these things, bad things happen. And you know what? Bad things happen. What is the thing the Arlessa valued most? Saving her child. What is the thing that, because of her actions, directly was in the biggest danger possible? Her child. We had Dwayne, who wanted to make a name for himself, who wanted to show, like, mages can be safe, and did it in a way that is, like, the worst thing possible. I'm going to poison this good dude to help my people feel better about things. And you know what? You reap what you sow. And he had to go through a pretty significant penance. He might have died, and that would have been fine. And then if we kill him, we reap what we sow, because we have less options in that final choice. And so it just felt like so many different consequences to choices, consequences to actions, and really, really strong storytelling here.
Yeah. So the Arl, when we get there, the Arl is still in his coma, essentially. So like there's nothing we can do about that. So we are told that we need to go finish what the knights have started, which is to try and figure out where the urn of sacred ashes is, so that we can get some of those to cure the Arl, so that he can help us against the Darkspawn. So this whole storyline isn't even done yet. It's really cool. I really, really enjoy this quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So side quests.
Ah.
The other thing that we had on the docket today are side quests, because there were a bunch of side quests.
I love the set pieces. I love the set pieces. I love when this game goes all out and puts its time into things. I think I could lose every single side quest in this game, and it would just feel better.
It's very early BioWare side questing. Like, it's like Mass Effect 1 companion quests, where it's like...
Yes.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you have to go get this thing. Oh, it's just... Oh, I got it. That's it. Oh, cool. All right. Wow. I don't know that needed to be a thing.
There was a side quest that you get in Redcliffe, and it's basically like, hey, go stop these people from reporting on these mages, because it'll end up bad. And we don't really get an explanation for it, other than, or maybe we get it later on. I can't remember where we get the quest. But either way, it's talk to these people to prevent them from talking to these blood mages. Or about these blood mages. And when you meet with them, you've got three options. You can persuade them, say, hey, how about I go tell people about this? And then you just don't. You can intimidate them and be like, if you want to talk, you're going to meet the end of my sword. And they'll be like, actually, I don't want to do that. Or option 3, you can just kill them. And option 1 and 2 don't result in any XP for you. And that's insane to me. That the only way you get XP in that side quest is to kill them?
I
Why?
didn't realize that. I just sent them on their way. I didn't even notice that.
It was so dumb. I love the story. I love so much of this game. The side quests are absolute garbage.
That side quest specifically is really funny, because like so you pick up the side quest, and then I think it just happens like when you're on your way, right? So like
most side quests do. They just like random encounter happen.
Yeah. So when you get to the world map, there are random encounters, sometimes random, sometimes scripted, but they appear random because you kind of you travel between point A and point B, and like you see the path that you take between point A and point B, and sometimes between point A and point B, there will be an encounter. And I remember right, this is one of those encounters. So you go walk up to them, and then like your character, the warden, just like starts talking as if you know what's going on. And it legit took me like a minute. And I'm like, what? Why would what are we talking about? Because there's like no like introduction that this is for a side quest. There's no like memory refresher. It's just all of a sudden you have to remember that you clicked on a thing on a board. And maybe you didn't read that. Maybe you did. I don't know. I'm not your mom. I don't read those because it's so much text. And so like, I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? What is this? What is this? And so I was like, how about I just tell them that it happened? He was like, works for me. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And then I got the quest notification. I was like, what?
I accidentally completed all these side quests, and I do mean that earnestly. Of like, I just happened upon them. I went back to the board and I was like, what are the side quests? Maybe I missed up. And I assumed, because I hadn't gone out to complete them, that all of the side quests were in Redcliffe Village. I had completed all of the side quests. I didn't even know at any point, and I just went back and they were like, thanks for doing all the work. Here's your money. And I was like, okay.
And what's so funny is some of those Chantry board quests and the other ones, Black Sun Irregulars as well, or the Mages Collective, they will be like side quests for like multiple locations in the game. So like you'll have to go to Orzammar, you'll have to go talk to the Dalish Elves, you'll have to go to Denirim, and you'll have to go to the Mages Circle and do a thing at all 4 of those locations, and you're gonna get like gold out of it and like 40 experience. And they don't even necessarily, like, some of the quests will like show like, okay, you've completed X, Y, and Z. But for a lot of these side quests, it'll be like, okay, you have to go find the Circle of Power at the Mages Circle, at Denirim, and at Orzammar, and it won't tell you if you completed the Circle of Power at the Mages Circle. It just happened, and you're like, okay, I have to remember that I have 2/3 of this side quest done. It's like, so I think for the most part, the side quests are going to be like do on your own time type of situation. I don't think there are some side quests that are crazy super fun. Did you do the one in the Mage's Tower where you had to do the different like the
summonings?
Summonings, yes, the summonings.
If I did not have an active walkthrough, I would have left that side quest immediately.
Did you have tab at that time? Did you remember how to use tab?
Yes,
Okay.
And even with tab and a walkthrough, it still took me like 20 minutes to find everything.
It is the most ridiculous quest you'll ever encounter in a video game. So it all takes place in like 3 attached rooms in the first floor of the Mage's Tower. And if you don't know that tab is a thing, it's impossible to complete, because you have to go and you start the quest by clicking on this like font of power, and it will be like, okay, for step 1, level 1, you have to go do these 3 things. And so you have to like go around these 3 rooms and find these 3 things and do them in order. And you have to do that 3 times, the increasing number of things to do. And the last one is just like, it's like 8 things you have to do in order. And then at the end, summon the fun like sloth bear guy, and you have to kill him from the Mage's quest. The origin story.
Is that who I summoned?
That's what I assume it is, because like it has the same look. Has the same look, and it was in the Mage's Tower, so it like makes sense to me. I don't know. It could be headcanon as well, but that's my headcanon.
Yeah, I like to think that sloth demon is just taking a nap for the next 100 years. That's my headcanon. He gave his one riddle, and now he's like, I'm good.
But yeah, it's fairly ridiculous. There's also a side quest in the Mage's Tower that requires you to go like throughout the entire Mage's Tower again. Like you have to like the entirety of it, and it was fun too. Actually, there's a nice little like fun storytelling in that one actually, where like you learned about. Was that the one where we learned about the blood mages and that kind of stuff? Or it was a story of a mage who was trying to he was a student who was trying to grasp for too much power. It was really, really fun. And then you end up like going and summoning what he summoned, and then you have to kill it. But it was fun, but boy, like, do we really need it? I think of all the side quests, that one I think is one of the more interesting ones, because you also has a bunch of stuff to unlock and you get gear from it and everything. So I enjoyed that one quite a bit. But for the most part, they're stinkers.
This side quest section is also the first spot that I I got legitimately frustrated because if you go to the very top of the tower, there's a statue, and if you look at the statue, there's like, oh, there's a vial of swirling dark energy. Do you want to take the vial? And I was like, yeah. And I took the vial, and instead it immediately smashes and summons a revenant or something. And this thing just wrecked me, and there was nothing I could do about it. It just wrecked me again and again and again, and I could not figure out how to beat it. And I was like, you know what? I am not having fun. I'm going to lower the difficulty. I'm going to go down to easy, and I'm going to enjoy myself more. And I did, and I do. And so I'm now on easy mode just because the combat is really interesting, but I'm not good enough at it to enjoy it yet. And so ever since I've changed it to easy, I'm having way more fun. I'm having way more fun. I'm doing more interesting things, and I am stressing far less.
Yeah, so this is probably could be T as well, but we'll just talk about it now since we started talking about it. I'm playing on normal mode still. I'm finding it probably a little bit easier than I normally would like it, but I am 95% certain that if I raise the difficulty, I will have to like meta build stuff where I'll have to go in and like make sure I am using like 100% build guides to make sure everything is correct, and using poisons and kind of like the stuff I don't really want to get set up correctly and do all the time.
Yep.
Like, I forget to add poisons all the time. I don't want to deal with poisons. It's like an extra bit of tedium that just like, why do I have to click on it? It seems unnecessary.
I have yet to build a single poison or a single trap.
Yeah, I don't do the traps. But so I recently got the respec mod actually, and so I was like, and that has helped a little bit. And I'm almost using it more like for like in lore and to really create myself. Like, I have 3 characters that go with me on every mission. I have my tank, which is my warden. My warden's the tank. I have healer, who is Win, and I have my kind of like my rogue, who is Liliana. And she's not necessarily my DPS, my head DPS, but she has high trap skills, so she can detect traps. She's maxed out on lockpicking, and she is like a couple other things. Just kind of like the jack of all trades that you kind of need like in the party. So she doesn't do a ton of damage, but she does all that other stuff that she has like a high pickpocket skill. She can do all these things that you kind of need in the game, but doesn't necessarily lead to like really like powerful like in-game stuff. And so I was like, I don't want to have to deal with like not having that in my group. And so
yeah, the number of locked chests I've come across that I go, well, guess I'll never know what's inside that, has been infuriating because I am a dum-dum. And I did not realize that lockpicking and stealing were different skills.
Yeah.
So I kept leveling up Liliana's stealing ability because I was like, oh, this must be what it is. And I just, like, yesterday realized that they were different. And I was like, why can I not unlock so many things? Her stealing is at, like, level 3. What's going on? There's a different skill for that.
Yep. Yes, there is. And you're going to want the stealing when you get to Denirim. Just so you know.
Okay.
So stealing is a good thing, and the lockpicking is a good thing in Denirim. So Denirim is basically like... So if you love the side quests, you're going to love Denirim. Now, the thing
Not
about
a great
Denirim...
sign, Dano.
The thing about Denirim is the side quests are... Now, they are done in a similar way where you're like, oh, I did a side quest. But they're actually really, really fun. And they assume that you are just, like, out for gold and you're kind of a sketchy character. So, but it's a lot of fun. And the trick about Denirim is just making sure you're going into every house, because like there will be side quest things in almost every one of them. So if you can go in a door, there's going to be a fight in there, or there's going to be someone to talk to for a quest, or you're going to need to like paint something on it because there are blood mages inside or something. And so there's something to do in almost every place, like the taverns and the brothels and that kind of stuff. So you have to go to do all of them. The trick is just to walk around and make sure you're getting in every location. That's really kind of the trick of Denirim. And then it's pretty fun. Denirim's neat because like Denirim has its own mini world map for the city, because the city is so big that like the different locations work the same way that the world map does. You have like a city map, like the world map, and you go to different locations within there. Denirim's really fun. So, but it is all side quests, but just pick all of them up and you will complete them all as you go, because there are some things that you have to do. There is one thing you have to do there to like move the story ahead as well for the Urn of Sacred Ashes or whatever it's called. But yeah, Denirim is like that. It's a couple hours long, but it's pretty fun, and there's stuff in there. Like if you make sure that you've given gifts to, what's his name? The Templar guy. Why am I forgetting his name?
Alistair?
Alistair, yeah. Because Alistair's like personal quest is in Denirim. So make sure that you've like hit his like wherever you need to go to get him to talk to you about his backstory a little bit. Because you're going to want to go ahead and take care of that while you're there. So, yeah. But yeah, the side quests are kind of a bummer. Oh, one of the side quests that we do have, you go to a side quest and it's a trap and you get our best friend. So.
And I do, do you want to go to Naga Sandwich here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Taste my grilled cheese.
Munch, munch, munch.
So what's our first good?
First good is our new friend. Zevran is a assassin who had been hired by Terran Logain to take care of you. And they set up a trap, and you kill all of the assassins except for him. And he's like, hey, man, I'm just an assassin. I failed pretty bad. How would you like to not kill me, and I can join up with you? And everybody in your party is like, are you kidding me? And he's like, hey, man, I was paid. I don't care to do this. But if you let me go, I'll work for you. And he is sassy, and he is witty, and he is funny, and I love him.
He's fantastic. He is typically my DPS that I bring along. I don't usually bring like Shale or Alistair, and definitely not Sten or Morgan, because like both of them, like I say something and they're like, I hate you for what you said. And I was like, gosh. So yeah, typically I'm bringing around Zevran. He's awesome and fantastic and a ton of fun. And he's so funny. He's absolutely hilarious and just really doesn't care about much of anything. Yeah. I love Zevran. You've got our not so good as well.
Did you say I should take the not so good?
Yeah, I think you wrote that, didn't you?
Who's to say, Dano? It was an hour ago when I wrote these things.
I think you wrote it and you forgot to change the color. I definitely wrote the best good. So
okay, great. Please stop crashing on me, game. Please stop crashing on me. You've crashed so many times. Like, you're crashing every 45 minutes to an hour, and I just want to play this wonderful game. It's a wonderful time, and it won't stop crashing on me. Please, 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 let me play this game. Please, 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 stop crashing on me.
Yeah, so when we were buying this game, it was on sale on both Steam and GOG. So if you don't know what GOG is Good Old Games, and it's just another Steam. We talked about this, right? It was on sale on both, but GOG doesn't have Dragon Age 2 or Inquisition. So I picked up the Steam version because Steam does have those games. And I was like, well, I think supposedly the GOG version runs better. Like they've optimized it to run better. And I was like, but I don't know how like the progression will work from Origins to 2 to Inquisition. And so better safe than sorry. We'll just play the Origins one. We'll play the Steam version. My DLC stopped working, didn't even work on the Steam version, period. Like, I couldn't even play them. So I had bought the GOG version as well when it was on sale, just to kind of see how it played. And then just, like, went with the Steam version because they seem to both play equally the same until, like, I got further in the game. And then I've been running the GOG version ever since because I wanted to play the DLCs. And it runs so much better. Like, it just doesn't crash randomly. Oh, it does crash randomly. But like instead of crashing like every half hour to 45 minutes, it crashes like once every 3 hours maybe, typically.
That's better.
Yeah. Like, is it great? No, but it's sure is a lot better than not being able to walk into a door. So if I could do it over again, I would have just made sure all of us were playing on the GOG version, because that does seem to be a much better version than the Steam version, which is unfortunate because they're still charging full price on Steam for this game. Like,
that's crazy.
And it just doesn't really work. It's just
Nope.
insane. It's insane. Yeah. Anyway, I have the best good, and the best good is the choices in Redcliffe. They're perfect. They're like chef's kiss perfect. I love all the decisions you get to make up to that point. The decision made during the quest all matter, including if you just go to camp to change parties. Like if you're like, oh, I should have Morgan in my party for this because I almost did this, and I'm so glad. But I was like, oh, I should have Morgan in my group for this because she can do flaming weapons, and that'd be super good against zombies. So I almost left and got Morgan, but I chose not to and just stick with my group. So I almost like blew the whole thing. And the one thing is, like, if it happens, you can pretty easily go back to a save. Like, it wouldn't be the end of the world but so if you wanted to undo it, I don't know. I probably would have, but maybe I wouldn't have. But either way, it's fun to think about because I almost did just kind of like pull the oopsie. So I do love it. I absolutely love the kind of the decision making and everything that goes into Redcliffe. Super well done, super interesting. I love it. Absolutely love it.
He asks each traveler 3 questions. 3 questions.
3, that's a magic number. I will ask myself 3 questions.
Hey there, Storm Rage. What are you liking so far?
This will sound like something that I am not liking, but I swear it is. I went through and I kind of like Googled a couple things because my favorite style of combat is like this arcane warrior, like a melee person that can use melee spells, often like buffs themselves, and can do a lot of damage that way. And without the specialization, I think that it's a little bit weaker, and I just haven't really been having a lot of fun with it. Because, like, I'll run in, I've got haste, I've got Earth Ward, I've got telekinetic weapons on, I have a couple of, like, glyphs. So, like, I'm doing some things, but I just don't feel impactful on the battlefield. Like, I just set my dude, and he's just, like, slashing at this guy for, like, 10 minutes, doing very minimal damage. And I can't figure out why I'm doing so little damage. And then I started playing Morrigan more during combat, and just letting my dude just attack things, and I feel the presence of Morrigan. I feel the damage that she does in a way that I do not with my protagonist. And so I think I'm gonna swap. I'm gonna respec again into a more rangy mage and just go all in on like the death, the decay, cold snap, some of those abilities that I think are just really fun and also very applicable. So the idea is I'm liking finding new things in combat and feeling more powerful in combat. Dano, what about yourself?
So I've never played with Win in my group before, so not in like my first playthrough or my second playthrough. I just never, like, 100% what you said about Win, where she just seemed very boilerplate, milquetoast. She's a healer in an RPG. She is what she is. And once you play with her and start getting her approval rating up, she actually has a really, really interesting story. And I think she's a really interesting character that she's like the only one, other than like depending on how you're role playing the protagonist, who really seems to, and then probably Alistair as well, but he doesn't like say it out loud, who's really in it to like just save Ferelden. Like she's just like a person who has spent her entire life like out in the world using her powers to like help people and save people, and she wants the warden to be that kind of person as well. And it's really fun, like the conversations that you get to have with her, and then like when you kind of learn more about her, and there is, and we'll get into this as like we do more and more of like the lore section, but there is more to her character that is like does what has to get done at times, which is really fun and interesting as well. So yeah, I've never really spent much time playing Win, and she's been awesome, just an absolute blast and super fun to play. She even had a conversation with the warden, because the warden and Liliana are dating in my playthrough. Like they're like, and she's like, "What are you doing? That you don't have the warden? You can't do this. You you have more important things to do. Like, what are you going to do if someone forces you to choose between her and the blight or this, and like ask like really tough, real questions, and is like not okay with that, like, you're making this decision. And it's really interesting and really cool. Yeah, I think she's much more interesting than I ever gave her credit to kind of being. Yeah, a lot of fun. What are you struggling with?
Equipment feels so clunky and weird, and it's hard to tell what is good equipment. And as like a mage, I run across so much equipment that's like, hey, requires strength 18, and it's like, okay, guess I'm not going to use this on any of my characters. I guess Alistair gets another cool thing because he's the only one that has strength to use anything. And like the weapon upgrades seem so incremental, where it's like, well, a dagger that I found in the woods deals 4 damage, and this legendary perfect dagger that I just found deals 5.6. And I was like, that's not much. Like, it just feels like the armor and the equipment and stuff both doesn't matter, and also is so restrictive in who gets to use it. I don't find any of it fun, and the cosmetics of it also don't look great, and it feels like there's cool stuff for warriors and nobody else. It feels like if I am not a warrior with heavy armor and a big sword, I get nothing, and that kind of sucks.
It's Mass Effect 1 gear. It's very much Mass Effect 1 gear. I was going to talk about this next week, but it plays so well into what you're talking about. I was going to talk about side quests again. We talked about that. I don't need to talk about it again. So I really dislike, and this is kind of part of what you're saying, and it goes into kind of other stuff as well. I dislike that you have to put points into attributes. I don't really get it. And the attributes are super important. Like, if you just goof up your attributes, you won't be able to gain certain skills, or you won't be able to do certain abilities. And then also, your character will just be bad. If you don't have enough dexterity and you're a tank, your tank is bad because you don't have enough dexterity to actually dodge. And dodging is just as important as everything else in this game. So you have to have strength and dexterity, and then constitution does not matter as a tank. I'm playing a tank. I've not put a single point in constitution. I will not put a single point in constitution. You put points in strength and dexterity. You don't put anything into constitution.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so it's like, and you have to put it in there correctly. There is a correct way to do it. Otherwise, your character is bad. And that's, I think, frustrating. This is very much like of its time, like very much a playoff of D&D, because that's what these games were, an extension of D&D. And in D&D, you put stuff into attributes, right? And so that's kind of where this came from. But it's bad. And then if you want to play around with builds and that kind of stuff, it's really, really hard, because like you're dealing with right now, you wanted to play an Arcane Warrior, and you don't have the Arcane Warrior like specialization yet, so it's just not working out. And if there's no respec option, you just have a bad character. Or if you put your attributes wrong, maybe you're playing a warrior and you're putting stuff into Constitution. Well, your warrior's bad now. And so for a game that has all these options in combat, like not combat, but like in skills, like there are 16 skills for everything, like for dual wielding, for two-handed weapons, for archery, for the different mage schools. There's like 4 or 5 different mage schools as well. And if you like put your stuff wrong, it's just stuck, because this game does not have a respec.
Yep.
You just stuck with it. So luckily there are mods, and mods put a very easy and clean respec into it. I can share the respec mod if you need me to do that.
I have one. Okay, I've been using it.
Yeah, but like, so then what the fun thing about the respec mod is, it lets you get creative. So I actually was going through with a build guide, and was like playing through it, and was finding like, and it was made for like nightmare difficulty. These builds are for like, this is the best and this is the most difficult. Yeah. And so what I ended up doing today was, I spent like probably 45 minutes just respecking different characters that I had been building as like meta builds, and then just like used what I have learned in the game so far to make them fun. Like, so I just went all the way into Liliana being like a jack of all trades with archery, and then went all the way into Alistair on two-handed weapons, and then just went like super deep into like different things that are going to be fun, and maybe some of the skills are going to be less than good and would be bad if I was playing on a high difficulty level, but on normal, I've had no problems with anything yet. And so yeah, and then the gear is part of it as well. So for my warrior, I'm still using almost all gear that I got at the very beginning of the game. Like I've upgraded, I think I've upgraded Zaid's daggers. I think he has 2 really good magical daggers that I found somewhere. My tank is using the Blood Dragon armor that you get through one of the DLCs. You get the Blood Dragon armor chest, and then as soon as you get the merchants in camp, you can buy like the rest of it, the helmet, the gloves, and the boots.
You need a lot of strength for that.
I know, right? And so it's only useful if it's like a warrior tank.
A tank.
Yeah. And then I have Alistair has it's again like heavy armor that you get in the Soldier's Peak DLC. But like for my mages, nothing. I think maybe a staff. And I'm like, and then the mages stuff, what's really interesting, it's like, do you want +1 willpower and +2 magic, or do you want +3 spell casting? And I'm like, I don't know.
Not a clue.
What is the difference there? How is that? And like my mage can, my rogue can wear medium armor. Should they be wearing medium armor or light armor? Which one's better? And so yeah, it's very much Mass Effect 1 gear where you're just like, what am I doing here? Is any of this better? The answer is mostly no. It's not really worth thinking about. And then just like, I basically look for like slots for like glyphs essentially. And then I know if it's worth keeping or not for the most part.
All right. That's good to know. Dano, I would also want to note that at the beginning of this, we talked about how we're going to have so much time on this week because there's not a whole lot to talk about this week. We're at an hour 30, friend. Turns out there was a lot to talk about this week.
I noticed that spot. I was like, we were half. I was like, 45 minutes. I'm like, I guess I was wrong there. Not getting to Salt again this week. It's just so much fun to talk about.
It is fun to talk about.
What surprised you about the game?
There was a small quest, and I mentioned it earlier. So the blacksmith, you can basically promise to save his daughter, and he's like, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. And I went through, and I assumed that like after I saved Connor, I could go back and like find her and be like, she's okay. And so I went through. I did the entire quest line. I saved Connor. Everything was great. And then turns out if you don't specifically find her during the castle portion, she's just assumed dead, and you have to report that to her dad. And I refused to do that. So I loaded up a save that was 45 minutes ago, and I went back through. I redid everything because I was determined to find her, and I was like, where is she? There was a room that I couldn't lockpick, and I was like, if she's in this room, and I do not have the lockpicking skills to do this, I'm going to lose my gourd. And turns out, nope, she was just one room over that was wide open that I didn't check for some reason.
She's hanging out in a closet. She just had herself in an unlocked closet. And then you tell her to go. You like, go run back to your dad. She's like, okay, I know my way around the secret stuff, the secret passages. Yeah, but no, she's
and at that point, I had killed everything else, so I was just like, go through the front gate. It's fine.
So funny. Oh, gosh, funny. Because she's in like about a third of the way through the secret passages. Is kind of where she is. Yeah.
Also, I wanted to just note that it took me a really long time, and I've been meaning to mention this for the last 3 weeks, and I keep forgetting. I picked a voice that is literally Mark Meir, who is the voice actor for Commander Shepard. So I am still playing Commander Shepard in a BioWare game.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Dano, what surprised you?
It's just shocked at how much I want to play through everything that this game has to offer. Like, it's just a ton of fun. I know I keep on saying it, but I absolutely love this game. Like, I truly love this game. it's one of my favorites. And it's not going to, like, we have our new rubric now. And because of that rubric, I 100% this game is not going to be highly rated when we get to the end because there are problems with this game and how it runs. It is problematic and it is borderline unethical to sell this game for as much as they're selling it for. It's really problematic. If they were selling this for $5, I get it. Sure, great. It's an old game that runs buggy, but you got it on a dirt cheap price. You're playing it for like $20. I mean, that's almost a Hades. I'm sorry, but like this game doesn't run like well enough to charge a Hades for it.
No, it sure doesn't.
But like the story is amazing, and I love the characters, and I want to get to know all of them, and I want to run through all of their personal stories, and I want to go run through the DLCs that are separate of the main story. I want to go do Liliana's story. I want to go do the one where you get to play as the Darkspawn at the end of the game, and like I want to like force you and Matt to play those as well because like they're more fun than the side quests. But it's too buggy, which bums me out. But I'm going to try to play through it if I can because it's all so much fun. And this game, for what it has to offer, is amazing. It's just really, really great.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Storm Rage, sell the game to a friend.
It's an iconic game for a reason. And boy, howdy, do I wish it could get a remaster.
Yeah. So, yes, there is a reason they keep remaking these RPGs from the early to mid 2000s. They are amazing. They are from a time when epic stories were still told because 80% of the game cost didn't get sunk into graphics and then the salary of the CEO. Like, it was epic stories to be told and huge games to be made. It was special. That's why they keep on making these games or remaking these games because they don't make these games now or infrequently. We were going to do Salt, but
I think we're out of time.
So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to all our patrons for patronizing us. A special thank you to our producers and best friends forever, Baximus and RidiculousHat. You can find links to our Discord and content information to pin comment on our Patreon page over patreon.com/squelch.
Hey, Dano, for those that are following along, do we know what our schedule is for next week?
Didn't I say at the beginning?
Well, we usually also repeat it at the end.
Oh, forgot to. Yeah. So we are going to play through the Soldier's Peak DLC. That starts off by talking to that he is a merchant in your camp, and he will get you started to go to Soldier's Peak. It's a super fun DLC. Then we're going to go to Denirim and like side quest our way through Denirim. It's worth it, I promise. And then play through the Urn of Sacred Ashes. That should be about 6 hours. If you get to 6 hours without finishing Urn of Sacred Ashes, that means we probably have it as well. I'll be posting in the Discord what the final one is, but that should be about 6 hours.
Sweet. Well, Dragon Age is a game, and games are supposed to be fun. So, yeah, drink that Darkspawn blood, baby.
This is the end of the show. Everybody bye!
Feel like we're kind of like beating a dead horse with like, boy, the game is great, but boy, it runs bad. But boy, it's a great game, and boy, it runs bad.
One thing that I think is funny, maybe not funny, frustrated me. If you do not have the spell Curse of Mortality, and your opponent does, and they cast it on you, it's a very confusing time. Because I saw a bright red outline on one of my characters, and I went, that's weird, they're taking a lot of damage. I should probably heal them. And then you keep trying to heal them, and all you do is waste mana. And that sucks. That sucks a lot. And I get it, I figured it out. This is not like a complaint about like, oh, they need to be more clear about that. But the first time it happened, I was genuinely surprised, and I was like, why do I keep dying?
I didn't know that was what that was. I was just like, oh, there's a thing on my character.
It is Curse of Mortality. It prevents all healing or any sort of buff effects and will just continually deal damage to that character over time. The only way to get rid of it is with a D-spell.
There is a side quest you're going to pick up in Denirim. So speaking of mages, there's a side quest that you're going to pick up in Denirim. It is going to be the most nondescript side quest that you're ever going to, like, it's very easy to miss. It's just on a body. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. And that opens up a location. And then you go to that location, and it is some of the most bananas difficult combat you're going to run into this entire game. And it is essentially just like if you don't walk into the correct back alley and pick up the thing and loot the right corpse, you just miss it.
Man, I'm doomed. I'm not going to get that.
You're not.
Look at Dano laughing at my pain. Bye-bye, friends.
Yeah, bye. We'll talk at you again next week. Oh, we're going to talk about combat and gear and stuff in After Dark. Goodbye, everyone.
Psych. We're going to talk about combat and gear and stuff next week. Bye.